my second entry into my underrated champions series underrated champions that I love series is Jubilee. Jubilee won the vote by about 4%, just about beating Gore by that amount of votes, and so yeah, we're doing Jubilee now. So Jubilee is one of my all-time favorite champions to use. She was my first ever rank 3 6-star, and she got me Thronebreaker because of being my first rank 3. She's also one of the most simple champions to play in the entire game, as I'll get to later. The way she works is you just attack, you get prowess, and then you just want to throw your special 2 in a specific mode. Usually, like 90% of the time, it's going to be the orange one, so just make sure that you're getting in the orange one, and if you play Jubilee often, that happens most of the time. And it's just, you just attack, and then you throw a special 2. Like, she's just so simple, it just feels really good, honestly. And then once you line her up properly, you do that kind of special 2. And it's so great, man. It's just so great. So if we're going over the basics on how Jubilee works, we'll start here, where it says, while a firework surge is not active, landing a hit or being struck or striking into the block gives you a 50% chance to gain a prowess, and a 100% chance if that attack was an intercept. And this stacks up to 12 times, each one giving 12.5% extra special damage. So if you have maximum prowess, I'm pretty sure it gives you a 150% special bonus. And right there, that is me killing an Absorbing Man in 24 seconds from the last Battlegrounds victory track meta. And she was honestly, I think, maybe the best attacker that entire month, because she just works so easily and just seemingly all the time. Because I used her against so many matches that weren't even just generic skill champs, just so many matches that I used her for. You can use her for almost anything that is a non-tech or non-buff controlling mystic in this Battlegrounds meta and in general, because she doesn't really have limitations. If she can just gain the buffs and then the opponent doesn't have stupid energy resist, she's just gonna work. That's another reason I like her, because you can use her almost anywhere, which a lot of champs it's not the case. And so another thing she does is that if you throw it in the orange mode, which is, like I said, what you're going to be doing often, is you're going to get that special attack in with a 55% damage increase. And this is actually a really interesting ability, because think of it like this. This is a 55% increase to whatever you threw on that attack. It's not like a 55% fury buff. To where, okay, so in this with these arms race node is a perfect example. So the arms race node, if you throw it with your special with the opponent at 2 bars of power, you get a 200% passive fury. And the way this works is that basically gives Jubilee 300% attack. You've got 100% for base attack, plus a 200% fury. Now if you take that with your orange mode phase, you just multiply that by 55%, which gives you like 460 or around that amount of extra attack rating. Now if you had a 55% fury buff, then you'd get 350% or 55% attack instead of the 460 like I just went over. And that's actually just it's just a nerdy thing I'm bringing up, but with the way math works in this game, if your attack does extra damage instead of saying you get a fury buff with this much extra damage, it's so much better because it can scale with nodes so much better. It's one of the reasons that Hercules is like honestly the best champ for incursions in the game, because his attack scales so well with the incursions modifiers, and Jubilee's is the same way. It's like Jubilee, Red Hulk, and Hercules are like the 3 champions I can think of that regularly gain just extra hit damage instead of extra like furies, if that makes any sense. And it's just I'm spending so much time talking about this because it's a really underrated ability when you can have just your attacks scale with nodes instead of just scaling in general, because it works very different. And the reason I'm just bringing all these random Jubilee facts up is because this entire series is just about me explaining every single reason I love these champions, and that's just one of them, because I really love how her damage scales different than most other champions. Here's another really fun fight that I've used her for. It's Eternity of Pain Dormammu. And so, like I said earlier, 90% of the time you're going to be throwing your specials in the orange phase. Well, every once in a while, you really want to use the other ones. Like here, if you throw Jubilee's special 1 in the blue phase, it places a slow. And that is very important for this fight because it's got Footloose, so they have so much unstoppable and evade, like triggering almost all the time. And so using the slow from the special 1, I was able to completely lock him down once I got a little ramp up. And obviously the slow is not nearly one of the best slows in the game, specifically because you have to lose some of your damage to get it, and you have to get it on your special attack instead of a bunch of champs where you can just do it on a double medium for Shang-Chi or heavy attacks for She-Hulk and Spider-Gwen. But like, it's still there. Like in a bunch of fights, it still is useful. Like in this fight that I'm showing here, you can find ways to make everything in her kit useful. You've got the taunt on the special 1 as well, and you've got concussions on the special 2. She's just got so much utility that you can use whenever you need it. I've done other times, I've soloed Realm of Legends Wolverine by using that concussion to make sure he never gets a regen. And it's like I said, it's just always there. Like if you need a concussion for some reason, she's got it, and she can have access to like 75% pretty easily, if I'm being entirely honest. So yeah, that's just some more points about Jubilee's utility that I wanted to go over. Now we've reached the point where I just come up with random things I like about the champion. I really like her fireworks visual effects, and combined with the regular animations, it's just really beautiful the way they made it. Her special 3 animation in particular is just absolutely perfect. She's got some really nice animations that fit with her personality too. Like, just look at the finger guns. Like, does that not scream Jubilee? Like, it just makes so much sense. And Jubilee, I'm just gonna go over like my final points. I think Jubilee is underrated because she has so much going on in her kit where there's so much she can counter whenever you need it. Does she have less damage because of this? Yes, but it's always there if you need it. She's a good last resort kind of option for so many fights. She also has phenomenal damage for Battlegrounds content, as I showed earlier, and phenomenal damage that can be scale with nodes that it doesn't always work for other champions. Like, if it says it scales with base attack only, well, that doesn't work. If they get Fury buff, it's weaker than just doing extra damage on hit. There's just a bunch of things I like to talk about Jubilee that I just think are really underrated. And this is my Why I Love Jubilee video.